All right, we're gonna go with this as my background for this video today. I was talking to some business people, specifically in marketing, the other day, and we talked about how much of a gimmick the whole uh, Bram Stoker, Clint Stoker, Dracula thing is, and to me, I just think it's a joke because of how distantly I'm related, and I have no extra right that anybody else has to do a Dracula story. Um, but it got me thinking, like how I was just slightly embarrassed explaining that, yeah, I'm really distantly related, so I'm trying to cash in on that. That's like the point. It wasn't my idea from the beginning. It was out there floating, but I adopted it. It's a little embarrassing when I think about it. But the more I thought about it, I thought that comics have actually a really long and rich history of using gimmicks to sell books. And I'm here on, what is this, CBR? It's some news site because this is still today what happens. Usually today, though, it has to do with whatever the identity of certain characters, whatever, destroying the bigots, something like that. And that is and has been a gimmick for a few years now. I think it's not working as well as it used to work for them as far as sales go. I don't think it has ever worked for long-term readership and getting people interested in a character. But it'll definitely see a spike in sales, or at least you have historically, according to sales numbers for those number one issues. Nowadays, I think it's wearing thin, and they're going to have to come up with a new gimmick. It used to be, uh, Superman is dead. Superman dies. Batman breaks his back. Spider-Man has a clone. I mean, you could go back and back and back and think of all these outrageous things back to the days of like Stan Lee when you'd have two heroes fighting on the cover, and you thought, what? Why are these two fighting? Like, what gives? This is so interesting. But there's always been that sort of underlying spectacle of it all, of it being a bit of a carnival. Now, I mean, they just try to tie it so much to social issues and social media and whatever, because the world at large is just fighting about politics and stuff. But if I look at comics right now, um, let's see. I mean, essentially everything that we're looking at is just what is inside of the comic books, and I gotta admit, this is fairly boring. Like, there's nothing that interesting that grabs your attention to outside people that don't already aren't already reading these characters, that they might be interested in. So maybe there's a little bit more than just the gimmicks that sells comic books. There have been a few comics I got into comics a big way back when it was they'd call it the Image Revolution. Back when Image was just putting out hit after hit, like probably Saga, maybe before, a little before Saga, I don't know, that they were just killing it. And I kept looking at Image Comics thinking, this is where I want to be published, because they're just doing so many creative things that are outside of the superhero realm, that it's pretty interesting. I'm interested in what they're doing. That, I think that hype clearly has to be maintained. They have to continue to put out content like that, which they nowadays, it just doesn't seem to be the same. They don't have the hype that they used to. Maybe I should look into that a little bit more and verify, because I've been so out of what Image is doing. But it didn't seem like you could avoid it before, and there was hype based on the story content or the new books that were coming out. And as far as I'm concerned, that is really the hype that you can go for when you're independently doing your own comic books. And part of it is that X factor. One of the crowdfunded books that I don't know the creator on really at all was Roach Balls, which is a fairly recent one. I don't know if they've closed the campaign or not, but just seeing that campaign up, it was intriguing because the artwork was super interesting and different. The concept, I don't know much about the concept, I'll be honest, but it had me asking questions just based off of the artwork that was on the campaign, the character design. There was something very different and fresh and interesting about it that I have a hard time defining. It was sort of that X factor. And yes, that is hype. So I think that those types of things are the hype that is more useful and lasts longer. It's just going to have more longevity. When you truly pique someone's interest based on the story concept, but it's also so difficult to do, so difficult to achieve, to really hit it out of the park like that with you know, with your own title, something brand new. If you can do that, though, I think you got it made. Anyway, just some thoughts on comics. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to sign up to the Dracula pre-launch page, and I'll see you in the next video.